Hi everyone and welcome back to the course. In this video, we will talk about one a little more advanced topic in Python, which is the error handling. Even though I use the word advanced, this topic is actually quite easy to understand, and you see that it is not that hard to handle errors in Python. So there are many different types of errors, but in order to explore those, let's create a new file. So new Python file, and I will do errors. Okay, so let's get a bit closer, and now let's try to create a syntax error. So if I do while true print I, okay, so if I run that, you can immediately see that we're having invalid syntax error. This is because we normally need to do a semicolon between the while and what we want to be inside this loop, right? So this wouldn't work. Let's see another type of error. For example, if I want to do 1 divided by 0, then I will get non-zero division error, because usually in math you cannot divide numbers by 0. Let's try another error. So for example, if I do 2 plus string of 2, and if I run it, you're going to get a type error. Or let's say if you haven't defined a variable, let's say hello, and if I run that, I'll get name error because hello doesn't have anything assigned and it hasn't been defined. So sometimes errors might appear, but you also want to make sure that you handle them. So usually in programming, if there is automatic error generated, this is a bad sign. This means that something happened in your code that you didn't predict it, right? And this could break your system. It could prevent the rest of the code from execution. So for that reason, we're having something called error handling, right? So it is very simple. So let's write one example so you can see how you can handle errors. So let's do while true x would be equal to 2 plus 2, and when I run this loop, this should generate constantly errors. So we get a type error here, right? And we immediately break this while loop, and this means that our code will stop executing. So instead, what we can do is we can use the try statement. So let's do try, and then let's press tab to move this statement here. So we can try that, and in case this doesn't work, we can do except, and we can say that we expect type error. And this means if we get type error while we are trying this here, we can print the variables are from different type, right? So let's run that and let's see what happens. And you can see that since we're having a while loop, now our while loop actually is not breaking, so the code continues executing, and we're getting these errors or error exceptions constantly. Our code doesn't break. Of course, if you want to stop once you find a type error, you can simply write the break keyword, which we were talking about, and you see that since our code will break on the first execution of the while loop, we will return this statement here. So we will not get a system error, but we will be able to predict that error. So how it works is that we're first trying this clause here, and if no exception occurs or no error, then our exception clause is skipped. For example, if I write here 2 plus 2 and then print x, you see that we will constantly get false, right? You can see it right here. So if our try clause passes successfully and there is no errors, then the except is not triggered. And however, if an exception occurs, okay, then the except clause is triggered and the exception is raised. However, if the exception is not the same as the one specified, so if you do divided by 0, then you are still going to get an error. If you remove the exception specifier, you will get the exception activated with absolutely every type of error. Quite simple, isn't it? You can also write a multiple exceptions here. For example, type error, you can do zero division error, and so on. So if I close this, you will see that if I run the code, this zero division error is also covered. So this is how you are dealing with exceptions in Python, guys. Thank you very much for watching. That was a quick video, as you see, and it is really easy to handle errors in Python. And so please enjoy the rest of the course.